Hey Limitless Nation, today you're in for a real treat. Today you get to learn directly from Floren. Floren has been marketing since he was 13 years old, back in 1999. As a result of his skills in internet marketing, he has spoken at seminars on marketing all over the world. Countries he has spoken at include the United States, Canada, England, New Zealand, Australia, Singapore, Malaysia, and Hong Kong. Reed has a reputation for high quality internet marketing training and software products. He is particularly well known for his expertise in the areas of paid traffic and working with JV partners and affiliates online. In today's masterclass, you are going to learn directly from the one and only Floren. Let's dive into it.
Well, before you dive into today's masterclass session, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. It allows you to receive notification about every single time we have uploaded a new video and showing you how to live a limitless life. Now, if you want to dig deeper on what you need to do to hunt your future, make sure you watch the interview that I've done with Donna Vaughn at Untitled.Chapter. It will show you how you can hunt your future on every aspect of your being. Plus, you're going to receive tips and secrets on what you need to do to tackle your days on a regular basis. Now, let's dive into today's masterclass sessions.
Hey, welcome, Reed.
Thanks for having me, Donovan.
Hey, it's great to have you here. Now, Reed, is there anything that we did not mention in the bio that you would like to share with the Limitless Nation?
Well, I guess there isn't anything major. I mean, if people want to find out more about me, I've got a new training that I just put out the other day. It's a free training. It's available at imcasestudy.com, and that's going to share 17 lead generation secrets that they don't want you to know about. It's different sources that I'm testing right now that I'm seeing massive results with. And so people can download that at imcasestudy.com.
Sounds exciting. Thank you for sharing that with us. Now, for every interview that the Limitless Nation does, we have a tradition of starting each one with a limitless quote or mantra. Do you have a quote or mantra or even an affirmation that you have applied and embedded into your life?
Well, this is paraphrasing, but Winston Churchill had a quote that's basically never, never, never give up. And it was during the height of World War II. And I think that's something that's resonates with a lot of people. I mean, if people can go through what is ultimately one of the worst things ever, a world war, and come out from that and survive, pretty much anything is insurmountable. You can achieve all sorts of great things if you just realize that just don't give up on things. Eventually, you're going to see some amount of success. Maybe it won't be the level of success that you originally intended or wanted, but you're going to see some sort of results. So stick with things, just never give up. And you're going to be way further ahead than so many people, because most people, they'll try something, especially in internet marketing. They'll try something and they'll buy an ebook, or they'll download a training, or they won't even apply it. And they're like, why don't I have a Ferrari in my driveway? And they just instantly expect magical things to happen overnight. And that's not how the world works. And so just never, never, never give up. And you're going to see some positive results from things you try.
Right. So never give up and stay with what you're at until you finish it.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Now, Reed, in the vein of never giving up, can you share with the viewers and listeners a situation where you might have gone through like a challenge or a setback or even a failure, or maybe even an obstacle that you've had to overcome to get to where you are now?
Oh, I can think of several. I mean, the first one from when I was a little kid that I remember is when my dad lost his job. He was a scientist for the government, and he lost it my first day of kindergarten. It took him 13 months to find a new job. I mean, they went through all their savings. They racked up a bunch of credit card debt. They started looking into business opportunities. So I'm a 6-year-old kid, and I'm starting to learn about all these business opportunities. And that's really what got me the bug into this. So that was a big learning experience. Another one, a few years after that, we had a tornado rip through our town and destroy a bunch of homes, including our own. And so that was a major setback to overcome. And one of the beautiful things about that is my parents decided not to get TV service again. And so after that point, I grew up without television. And so that allowed me to focus on other things. So I developed much more interest in reading and learning things. And that's when I started picking out books on doing business stuff. And then fast forward a year after that, I started my own little internet business, and it grew and grew and grew. And then there are a bunch of setbacks with that. Things where either I didn't get paid for, or I had different accounts get closed. Like, for instance, a few years after that, I was doing Google AdSense, and they slapped me right away with that. I was on track for $30,000 a month, and they slapped and took that away from me. And so I started doing the JV stuff and connecting with different people. And then I started doing email marketing once I realized that how the JV stuff was working so well, and that I was earning commissions off of other people's work from them having an email list. So I started building an email list. And then, I just saw different setbacks with all sorts of things, both, personal wise and business wise. And really it boils down to not giving up and adapting. Every time I've had a major setback or failure, I've had something that's been 10 times greater because of it.
Wow. So that's crazy, being at such a young age and nearly losing everything, or being in that tight of a spot. And then you were able to overcome it. You improvised, and you had, we'll say, an entrepreneurial spirit where you said, I'm going to make a way, even though there's not a way right now. I'm going to create a job, an opportunity, a way to basically fend for myself by myself moving forward.
Definitely. I there's been a lot of things. I mean, a lot of things I didn't even go into. Like, for instance, I know when I graduated from school, my parents were like, "Oh, you should go to college and get a job and all that kind of stuff." And I'm like, give me a couple years to really figure this out, really master this internet marketing. I've been doing it for a while, but I hadn't achieved like massive success with it. And so, they gave me a few years, and then it was no indication of go to school or get a job after that. I started speaking at events, and I started having my own product launches and working with a bunch of people. And so things really turned around because of that. And I think because I burned the bridges, so to speak, and didn't have a fallback plan, there was no plan B. It was, you're going to figure out how to make money on your own, how to generate an income, how to provide for your family, those types of things. And so that's, if I had decided, I'll go to college or get a real job, if I encountered any sort of issue with the business, I probably would have quit by now, just because that's easier than trying to figure stuff out on your own, trying to do things the hard way. I mean, even if you get mentoring from someone online, there are going to be issues. There's going to be roadblocks. That's life.
Right.
That's life at a regular job. Even it's just the thing about a job is you've got a boss that's probably going to give you a paycheck. That's just how things work. But when you're an entrepreneur, it's not just this straight line of success. There are, a little bit happens, boom, 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 up and down and up and down. Sometimes you're down for a long time, and then you come back up. And you just have to have one success to make up for hundreds of failed attempts. And those failed attempts are really just feedback. For instance, I do a lot of paid traffic campaigns. Probably 90% or more lose money. Probably more than that. And I just need a couple of them to recoup all my losses and have a winner that I can scale. And so if you keep that in mind and you're doing other things to bring in money, you can have success online. And it's just, there's so many people that will try something once, or they buy into a course and they quit before they start. There's so many people, I mean, myself included, I'll buy a book or I'll buy a course, and I may not even complete it or may not finish it. And that's fine. But when I've had the most success is when I've followed one course until success. So that's focus. Follow one course until successful. And so you pick one thing you want to focus on, and you focus on that for a month, 60 days, 90 days, whatever, and you make it work. And if you can do that, you're going to have a lot more success than other people, because so many people will buy a course in the morning, maybe go through it. In the afternoon, they've already bought another shining object, and they don't know what to do. And they repeat that day in and day out, and they'll spend thousands of dollars within a month or two in internet marketing and have nothing to show for it. And so if you can take a step back and go, hey, I'm getting something even out of interviews like this, I'm going to apply something out of this interview and achieve some success with that, people are going to be so much further ahead than 99% of the people that are just in the general population, especially 99% of the people that even get into internet marketing. People just really shoot themselves in the foot. And a lot of it's a mindset thing, I believe.
Right. So I completely agree with what you said. Now, Reed, was there ever a moment when you were starting out with this internet marketing that we call it here an aha moment, where you were just tugging a little bit along and all of a sudden you just zoom straight up?
A couple things. The knowing that building relationships with people, that has a huge benefit. Even if you don't want to do product launches or anything, things are just so much better if you have relationships with other people in your industry, in your niche. They lead to different opportunities. Like, for instance, I know that you work for Henry Gold. That's how I got invited for this interview. Henry and I go back to 2005 because we met at an event and did some stuff after that. And so the relationships that you build years ago can lead to opportunities way into the future. Now, you don't just have to have relationships with JV partners and affiliates and other top dogs in the industry. You should build relationships with your customers, because ultimately it's all about the customer. And if you look at companies like Amazon, they really focus on customer service. You can access live chat like 24/7. It's easy to return things. It's easy to ask questions about products. And then you look at a lot of people in the internet marketing niche, and you just might send them a support ticket and you don't hear anything ever. Or you ask for a refund or something like that, and they're commenting about you on Facebook publicly and slamming you as a customer. And I look at that and I'm like, wow, that's some really bad customer service. And I wouldn't want to be associated with those kind of people. Either as an affiliate or a JV partner or even a customer. That really turns me off from that person. Now, I know we all have bad days and everyone's made mistakes. I've made plenty of mistakes myself. But I just look at how low the bar is set for providing good customer service in this industry, that I think people could really have a massive business if they just understood that it's really about the customer. It's not about you having this dream lifestyle and having the fancy car and the yacht and the dream girls and all that kind of stuff. It's really about providing value, giving back, and helping other people. That's really what motivates me, at least, in this. And I think that's what motivates most people, at least people that are going to stick around for any length of time, is knowing that you're helping other people. So those relationships, and then focusing on building a list and giving them what they want. A list really can't be taken away from you. Yeah, you could have an autoresponder shut down, but you should be making backups of your list, just so you have a backup of it. Because if you had a backup of it, you could move from a different company. Let's say you're on Aweber and they shut you off. Well, you could move to GetResponse or vice versa. And so that's something to bear in mind. Whereas, like, if you're doing social media, let's say you're doing Facebook or YouTube, and maybe you break some sort of terms of service, and maybe you've got tens of thousands of followers, they might decide, hey, we don't like you anymore. You're gone. It's like a Thanos snap, and your account's gone. You have no following. You've got nothing going on, and you have no way of making any money. Yeah, you could try to build a new channel again or build a new following, but it's going to take some time, probably some money. Whereas if you had that email list, well, you could just move them over to another provider and send out an email, and people probably wouldn't even know the difference. And so that's one thing that I think is really important, building those relationships, especially with your customers, and building that email list, and they really go hand in hand. And if you do that, you can stick around for a very long time and grow a nice size company.
I agree, because if you help enough other people get what they want, you can have everything that you want.
Definitely. That's a nice Zig Ziglar quote right there.
Exactly. Now, Reed, what are you working on right now?
Hope you enjoyed the masterclass session so far. Before we get into the second half of the session itself, it is very crucial for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, as I really don't want you to miss out on another masterclass where I'm going to share with you what other expert celebrities, Fortune 5000 companies do to become successful and live a limitless life. So make sure you subscribe right now, and every single time we upload a new video, you will receive a notification bell. This allows you to enjoy the masterclass on the regular basis. So make sure you subscribe right now. Well, as you are ready, let's get into the second half of the masterclass session.
Well, the other day I just put out a training. It's at imcasestudy.com, and it shares 17 lead generation sources that I'm using. There's some really alternative sources in there. I'm getting leads for under a penny per person in the Make Money Online space, and I share my resource for that. I've got all sorts of other sources where I'm getting traffic and leads from that people have never really heard of. And it's really the 17 lead gen sources that they don't want you to know about. Everyone thinks it's Google AdWords and Facebook ads and solo ads and things like that. And there's so many other ways of generating traffic online and getting leads in particular that are quite reasonable. And people should try out some of these other sources and see if they benefit them in their business. So that's available at imcasestudy.com.
imcasestudy.com. Sounds
That's
exciting.
correct.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Now, Reed, when you first started your limitless journey, was there any one thing that you can think of that could have possibly been holding you back from being limitless?
A lot of things. I still struggle with these things today. Indecisiveness, not taking action on something right away. It's really easy to procrastinate, especially when you work from home. I mean, you've got movies and video games, and you can go out and do anything all day long. And oftentimes I'll call my family and all that kind of stuff. And so not having a real regimented schedule, I think can be really detrimental. So when I started doing this, I ended up switching schools. And when I switched to this other school, we were able to work on our own projects, and we had a computer at our own desk. This was back in '99. So it was, pretty revolutionary concept. And so we were doing, we could work on our own projects, and we didn't have a teacher telling us what to do. And so it led to all day doing whatever I wanted. And so I could easily just do whatever I wanted. And so that's hard to build that kind of structure up. Now I've got things where I've got different internet filtering type stuff to block, like news sites and things like that. I've done things where there's like the Pomodoro timer where you've got like 25 minutes to work on a task and then you have a 5-minute break. Those types of things can help you focus. I mean, really, it all boils down to mindset and focus. And if you can, focus on these are the things I need to accomplish. This is what's moving the needle, and work on those tasks that are worth the like $1,000 an hour tasks. For instance, connecting with other people. Like we're building a relationship right now doing this interview. This interview is also going to be watched by other people. So this is something that, I'll get some other, benefit and exposure out of sharing this information with people. I might pick up some followers from it. A recording of this can turn into other things. I think you're doing it for video and podcasts, and who knows, you might even transcribe it. If we transcribe it, could possibly be a blog post or a book. I mean, there's so many different avenues from this, 20, 30-minute conversation we're having that you can go with it. So that's a great use of time. Another great use of time is creating a product, or doing the sales copy, or reaching out to JV partners, or just doing all those types of things. Bad uses of time are doing all the technical aspects of the business. Yeah, it's good to know some of those things, and I'm a techie by heart, so I do love figuring stuff out, and I do like to document it, so at least I can share with a team member of here's how to install XYZ, here's how to do this. And I also could sell that information if I want. So there's some benefits to learning new skills and trying them out. But a lot of people, they try something and they hit a technical roadblock and they just quit. And they're like, oh, that isn't for me, or I don't know what to do. And they would have been better off, spending a few bucks and having someone just fix it or do it for them versus just quitting. And so, focusing on those top quality tasks are what's really important. That's really what's going to move the needle for a lot of people.
Okay. So by focusing on basically, as you just said, the top quality tasks that make the biggest difference with the smallest amount of time is what you need to be doing.
Definitely. Like, this is not a business where you're paid by the hour. You're paid by the value you create. And so by being paid by the value you create, that's going to be, getting your message out to more people. That's going to be figuring out what your message is, kind of working on your business, not in your business. Yeah, there's certain things where this is a business where people buy you. They're really buying the relationship with you. So you can't just outsource like all your videos and all that kind of stuff. You can, however, outsource a ton of stuff. If you're like, for instance, let's say I'll share a mistake that I did. When I did my first like home study course, I transcribed it myself. I also had my mom help too, but we were transcribing it ourselves, and I would have been better off paying someone to do it. For instance, nowadays there's an app called Temi, TEMI.com, where they charge 10 cents per minute to transcribe. And yeah, it's just artificial intelligence, and so there's some mistakes, but we could have this whole recording transcribed for us. And, it's going to cost a couple dollars. And then we could have someone proofread it and edit it and make it look all polished and nice. And it would cost us a fraction of what other people are paying to have things all transcribed. And so that's just, a little tip, a little side note that people should leverage some of this technology and make it work for them. instead of slaving away themselves on every little thing.
I agree. I agree. And when you get to a certain point, it doesn't make any sense to be doing it all, because then you just overexhaust yourself.
Correct. I mean, one of the things that I do now is I use a site called Gen M for interns. And so I find interns and I have them work on different tasks for me. And so that speeds up time for me. And, what I do is I give them some feedback and I help them out and help guide them. And I give them a resource for their resume, and that's beneficial to them. But I also get essentially free labor. And so they work on different tasks for me, and that helps me out. So there's different ways to do things. You don't have to spend a ton of money on getting someone in the United States to work for you full time. You can find interns, you can hire Filipinos, you can do a lot of different things to really take some of the hats away from being a business owner and give them to other people.
Exactly. Now, Reed, in getting to where you are, I'm sure that there must be a habit or something that you have done consistently to maintain this level of this limitless life.
I mean, there's probably a few. I think some of my core strengths have been building the relationships with people and caring about other people. I think that's something that has served me very well. I think the stickiness to things where I just won't quit, and I'll find a way to do it. And I'm willing to go from failure to failure with enthusiasm, which I think is a very rare trait. Most people quit when they have their first roadblock. I'm a person, I didn't learn, my name's Reed. I didn't learn how to read till I was 10. Can you imagine the kind of teasing you get when you can't read at all and you're 10 years old?
Yeah.
So that's, I learned at an early age that you can overcome stuff. And now I read really fast, which is great. It's a time saver, especially in this industry where there's new stuff every single day of the week that you have to keep abreast on. This is not some sort of business where you set something up once and you forget it and it's going to produce income for years. There's things changing all the time, and you're going to have to learn and adapt and progress. And I think a lot of people, myself included, have rested on their laurels for different things. They've gotten comfortable, they've gotten complacent. And, when I found that I've had the most success is when I've gone out and I've networked with people, I've provided massive value, and I've given back. And the universe, or whatever you want to say, has always found a way to provide by doing that and focusing on other people's needs. And I've found that when I focus just on my own needs, things don't go so well. People don't want to work with you. People don't want to be around you because you get arrogant, you get cocky. No one wants to deal with a person like that. But if you put other people first and you make sure that they're satisfied, they're happy, you go above and beyond to provide a useful experience for them, a beneficial experience for them, you're going to have massive success.
I agree. Now, Reed, you mentioned reading, and I can see behind you, you got a very nice collection of books. Is there any one book that you have read or come into contact with that has greatly impacted your life the most?
There's a few. I love to buy books. It's one of my favorite activities to go to a bookstore or even a thrift shop and buy books. I have purchased thousands of books over the years. Almost all of them are business related. This is just a fraction of my library. I've got libraries in 4 different homes right now. And so the books that I have liked the most would be How to Win Friends and Influence People, that by Dale Carnegie. That will give you a lot of people skills, a lot of ways to build relationships with others. And that's a crucial skill. If you can't get the people skills right, you're going to really struggle. I mean, this business and any business is really relationships and building those relationships and having the people skills, knowing the psychology of other people. I used to think it was all about the technical skills. I mean, you're starting an internet business, you should know internet things and how the internet works and how computers work. Yeah, it does help to know how to do stuff. It is nice to be able to go, oh, there's a problem with the website, I can log in and fix it myself. I don't have to rely on some outsourcer to do it. That is handy, but that's not a task that really moves the needle. That's something that I should delegate more than I do. There's another book that I really like is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. That helps you with the mindset issue. And I mean, those are 2 classic books from the 1930s, and they're still as relevant today as they were then. Yeah, the writing might be a little outdated. They use kind of different language than we do now, but it's the same principles that are useful for people. If you want something that's more contemporary, The 4-Hour Workweek is a great book for kind of figuring out how to live this digital lifestyle. It was really kind of the first kind of internet marketing style book that went mainstream. And I think that really provided an explosion of people interested in internet marketing, was Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Workweek. There's lots of other books that are great too, but I think, if I were to lose all the books I have, those would be the 3 that I'd want to get right away. If I were to, go to a bookstore the next day, let's say we had a fire and burned down all the books I have, those would be the top 3 that I'd probably go out and buy the very next day.
Okay, thank you. Now, Reed, if you had to take a giant step back and say, look at your success journey so far and say, start over from a difficult spot or a challenging spot, is there anything that you would have done differently to live the limitless life that you're living now fast?
Build an email list from day one. One of the things that I struggled with, and this was something that I got from my parents, was you don't want to have recurring subscription style stuff. And that was a big turnoff for me for autoresponders for years. If I had, gotten an autoresponder account in '99, I would be making a lot more money than I do now. I didn't set up an autoresponder account of my own until 2006. So 7 years there of not list building. So if I would have, focused on building a list and picking one niche to be in and providing massive value to that audience, I would have been leaps and bounds ahead of where I am now. So it's not too late to start. I mean, right now I'm adding hundreds of people to my list every single day. And so it's really nice to be able to build an email list now and build that relationship with them. But if I had gone back 20 years and started doing it, I'd be way further ahead. So start building that email list and provide value to those customers.
Wow. Hey, Reed, how can the Limitless Nation viewers and listeners get in contact with you to learn more about what you have going on in your business, learn more about your story, as well as just to connect with you?
Sure. Well, the thing that I would really recommend people going to is imcasestudy.com, and that's going to share 17 lead generation sources that they don't really want you to know about. So go to imcasestudy.com and you can get access to that. You're going to learn some of the new methods that I'm using for growing my list, growing my audience, and building those relationships with people. And you're going to find that to be quite beneficial. So be sure to pick that up at imcasestudy.com.
Okay. And real quick, could you spell that for those listening via podcast?
Sure. It's imcasestudy.com.
Awesome. Well, Reed, thank you very, very much for your time.
Thank you, Donovan.
I'm sure that the Limitless Nation has been inspired by your story, as well as everything that you have had to say. I know that I absolutely am.
Awesome. Thank you.
Until next time, this is Donovan saying, stay limitless.
Take care.
Well, that's a wrap. Please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the word subscribe. And if you want to go deeper on learning on what you need to do to hunt your future, make sure you watch the interview that I've done with Donovan on what you need to do to hunt your future on every aspect of your being. This allows you to live a limitless life on every aspect of your life, starting from today's forward. Plus, you are going to receive tips and tricks on what you need to do to tackle your day, tackle your challenges on every situation, every single time. So go ahead and download it right now. And until then, stay limitless forever.